Hey, what is up, guys? So we're gonna do a trick for a little bit and try and make this pendulum thing work. So this was one of my older lists that I've kind of revamped for theory testing. I've tested it a bit on Dylan Book and it's doing quite well. Quite being the word, since I only really test this once a week-ish. And it seems to do quite well. It still does the same thing of make lots and lots of negates and pray to sweet Jesus that you just don't go up against Cash Hero because unfortunately, Microcosmos does hurt pendulums, and anyone that they all like three of you that don't know, if macro is like face up on the field, your pendulums don't go to the face up monster zone; they get banished, which is kind of really bad for this. The only way you can kind of deal with this is with Endymion, by just like nuking the board as quick as possible, and you just play loads and loads of spells until that happens. But you don't really have like the greatest way to deal with Cash if you have to go second. Like, you just accept that you've lost, and then you just side in all the golems under the sun, and then you win from there. But besides that, it kind of does alright. Its drawing into ways is very good because draw isn't in the format as much, it's more Ash, and you can play through Ash really easily. Like, you don't even have to waste Jackal King on the Ash. You can just play through it. Just play through it. And the fact that if you play this in, I wouldn't say the most optimal way, but more tactical way, you can guarantee that evenly Dark Ruler, things like that, don't affect you. The only way that you're kind of losing is to Droplet plus basically a board breaker, and that's how you kind of lose. But your opponent has to ditch a lot for Droplet, like a lot, because you can end up with two Endymions, a Vortex, and a Jackal King without trying. And that's very good, especially since if you don't go down that route, you just have access to a Selene, so it means that you can bring back the Endymion or summon the Reflection, which is a lot better than I'd give this deck credit for. Fair enough, it is a glass cannon. Like, as much as it does make a very difficult board to break, once you've broken that board, you're not going to have a good day. And the fact that Lava Golem and Sphere Mod are running around in the format means that game 2 you might have a very difficult day, but oh well, it's still fun. It's still fun, and it's just beautiful watching the deck unfold because it takes a reasonable amount of skill to make sure that the board ends correctly. But enough of my rambling, so into the deck list we go. So we play the 3 Chronograph Sorcerer. This is basically just free link material. You put this in your zone, you get the free access to this, and then go off from there. That's really it. We play the 3 Endymion. This card just napalm strikes your opponent's field. It's very rare that you'll pull off like the removing 6 counters to summon it. You'll usually end up summoning it the normal way of pendulum summoning, but it's still a good thing, and the fact that the counters do actually really do build up very easily on this. You can end up getting to actually the remove 6 quite quickly, but it's not the most optimal play every time because if your opponent outs it once you remove 6 counters, you kind of are in a little bit of a worse place for wear. We play the 2 Jester Confit. This is basically just a level 1 spellcaster. It's just an extender. That's all it does. It summons itself and then just use it as free link material. Then we play the 3 Magical Abductor. The reason why we play this at 3 is because it not only searches for a pendulum, it searches for a level 1 spellcaster. So it can search the Jester Confit, or it can search the Magician's Souls, which is very useful because free draw power is free draw power. And when you just kind of run out of the spells in your hand that are useful, you can just draw into your pendulum monsters and make an even bigger board. 9 times out of 10 I end up normal summoning this and putting it in the scale because I want to get to the souls, and then we can just pop off from there. Then we play the 3 Magician Souls. We don't play any of the ritual monsters. Now the reason why we don't play the ritual is because the Abductor searches the souls, and the souls ditches any spellcaster that we need. So we can ditch the Jackal King, we can ditch the Endymion, we can ditch the Chronograph Sorcerer if you really want to, but I wouldn't suggest it. Or we could ditch the Reflection of Endymion, which, again, wouldn't suggest it on every occasion, but some occasions it does come up. And the free draw 2 is just amazing because of one of the spell extenders that I'll get into in a minute. But there is no real bad send off this. You can just plus because of Celine brings back anything that you sent off. Obviously, there's more optimal ones of ditching Endymion or Jackal King, but those are the optimal plays. But sometimes the circumstances make you change things. Then we have the one. Then we play the one Magister of Endymion. This is kind of just played as a one-off. You don't need it at any higher number for the sole purpose of it summons from the face of extra. It's not as good because you don't really need to summon stuff from the face of extra. If you pendulumed correctly, it doesn't matter what you're bringing back from this. It's just kind of needed sometimes as an extender, but you can kind of live with banishing this off desires. The two Jackal King, because Monster Negate is Monster Negate, and this is a very big monster. Also, Pendulum, putting this in your Pendulum scale isn't too bad, because all the big stuff that you want to summon are over scale 4, so really good. Then we play the one Reflection. This is kind of the card that you want to search. So when you end on your end board of Celine, you can actually just summon this during your opponent's turn. It's a free compulse, and this is just what makes it very good. And it just redistributes the spell counters as well. So if your Endymion doesn't have counters on it, you can just bounce something that does, and then give the Endymion the counters, which makes it better. Then we play the 2/7 Endymion. I tried it at 3. I kind of bricked off 3 because you have so many ways into all the spellcasters that you need that you don't need a lot of 3-ofs. You don't need a lot of the 3-ofs. I could play this at 3 and put the Abductor down to 2, but I kind of want to draw into this, have access to the souls a lot more easier, so I play personally 2. I'm wrong now, but oh well, we'll die on that hill. Then we play the one Blue Boy. This is just for the spellbook lineup, nothing else. And then the one Time Gains the Magician. Again, this is just part of the cover. Then we play the 3 Allure of Darkness. As you can tell, like nearly most of the deck is dark, so this is just free draw power, and it gives you free counters. One Instant Fusion. This is used to summon Millenniumize. And then also, because it is treated as a fusion summon, you can bring it back with Celine. You can also bring it back with one of your other spells. One Into the Void, because draw power is draw power, you don't care about your hand at the end of the turn. And then this is kind of like the combo card that kind of makes this deck really, really good. So, Magician's Restage lets you bring back Millenniumize after you've used Instant Fusion. So, you can have that there to bait out whatever hand trap you need, and then bring it back. And then it also searches the right hand when it's sent to grave. So, you can use this. So, you can summon your souls, play this, bring back your Millenniumize, and then use Soul's Effect to ditch this to get a free draw 2 because you're ditching some other random spell that is probably a once per turn. And then you get to search for another negate. So this card is not terrible in any way, it's just amazing. Then one of the Magician's right hand is free search of the previous card. It's the better out of the 2. I do contemplate playing the left hand because of traps, but we're playing Endymion for the trap part. This is just additional stuff for the spells. 2 Desires, you play so many 3-ofs you don't really care. Then we play 3 Spellbound Mastery. This is just free searching. That's it. It's sad that it's once per turn, but again, Souls ditches it off, so you get free stuff. So yeah. 1 Knowledge. This is just free draw power. It's not the worst card. It's not the best, but you just have to play spell cards that just say draw, and then you get counters, and then you get draw stuff. We play the 2 Secrets because it's better out of the 2 because Secrets does stuff on its own. Blue Boy is a normal summon, so we kind of don't want too many normal summons. The correct ratio for normal summons is never make it more than 5 because you end up with bricky stuff. So then we'd rather play the stuff that searches and secrets. And then the one Upstart Goblin because free spell counter is free spell counter. The side is a little bit iffy, but I'll still go through it. So we have the 1 Pancratops, the 3 Lava Golem, the 3 Sphere Mode, 3 Book of Eclipse, 3 Ruler, 1 Eye Dispel. So the reason why we kind of the Terraforming is just remnants of the previous deck. I don't actually know what to play instead of the Terraforming. If anyone has any suggestions, it would be really great because the original idea was to actually have 3 Mine and the Terraforming, but I don't actually know what to play now with the Terraforming. So we're just going to pretend that we didn't see that. The Harpy's Feather Duster is just free back row removal. It does tempt me instead of playing the Dark Rulers to play triple Lightning Storm and a Duster. However, with the amount of stuff that just gets summoned in defense and the amount of stuff that just doesn't get nuked, it helps and it doesn't at the same time. The only thing that I was contemplating was the usual package of two evenly, two lightning storm. So basically, this whole pack's in like it doesn't matter which one you draw, you get the things that you need. But the issue is you end up with stuff in your pendulum skills, and then that kind of shuts off both of them. The Book of Eclipse, it's a lot better than I thought it was. With the amount of times that I use this to bait out the free negates, because the issue is like if your opponent has a carrot or something on field, you want to be able to just deal with it instantly. And this is slightly better than Ruler, because I can still do damage under this. So if I Book of Eclipse and my opponent's left with an IP or something like that, I can still do the damage and kill them this turn. However, if I Ruler, I've only just broken the board, and it's the case of I have to guarantee that everything doesn't die. The Sphere Modes and the Lava Golems, I just sacrifice the fact that I can't normal summon Blue Boy, and that's it. It's all that happens, but we get the free board breaker. And then the Pank, because it's just another version of the Sphere Mode, all that. You could play Kashtira Penria, however, I think that would be a little bit too much because you'd be using 9. You'd be using 9 of them, so, 9 in the sense of like 3 Sphere Mode, 3 Lava, 3 Penria, which isn't really useful. The extra deck is very, very tight in the sense of I didn't change any of it from my previous list because it still does what it needs to do. So we need the 3 Selene because you need it as part of the combo. That's pretty much it. I've tried to play it with less, it doesn't work. Just take my word for it and just play the Selene. 1 Saryuja, it fixes your hands and you can get to the Link 4 very easily, using 4 with different names. So like, you end up using like Abductor or Souls and then just 2 throwaway cards that you're going to bring back anyways by Pendulum Summoning. 1 Relinquish Anima, if your opponent plays the zones wrong, Magician Souls just sucks up the monster. The standard package of Unicorn and Phoenix. I could play Cerberus or I could play Griffin, but I don't think they're actually needed as much because you make a lot more. You make enough negates for. You make enough negates so that Griffin isn't actually required anymore. Then we play the 1 Daybreaker. This is just another free stuff that counts on. I don't tend to make this as much. It's more of an optional of, oh, this card does a thing, so we use it as the free pop. But besides that, it doesn't really come up. 1 Crowley, again, it comes up when it does, when you don't have the spellbook package, but if you've already drawn the spellbook stuff, this card is kind of irrelevant. The 1 Cross Sheep is part of the combo where you make Hot Eyes, Absolute Dragon, and then link it off to make Vortex, and then this reborns one of the stuff in the grave. 9 times out of 10, it's reborning the Millennium Eyes that I've just used, or sometimes the Souls, or it's just mainly used to reborn anything that I need so that I can just finish off on my board of Appaloosa. And then we have the 1 Boral Sword Dragon. This is just OTK stuff. It's very rare that I actually summon this because most of the other stuff just absolutely just decimates my opponent's board, so I don't actually bother making this. It's only really against like towers level stuff. Like if my opponent's an rival, I can actually out it very easily. Then we have the 1 Appaloosa. This is just standard, just you end on the board for it. Then we have the 1 Absolute and the 1 Vortex. This is standard Pendulum stuff. Like you make this with the Cross Sheep, and then you summon this by linking off stuff to make the Apo, or use it to make the Apo or the Saloon. So then you just get more free stuff, and it just goes off from there. And then the 1 Millennium Eyes. This is still going to be in here no matter what because it's a free spellcaster that you can bring back. Fair enough, it's not always going to be summoned because you have the only way to it is the instant fusion, but once you've drawn it, it's going to be in the game for the duration. You can just keep on linking this off the stuff and then reborning it with either the Cross Sheep, with the Magician's Restage, Sleeve, so many other things to bring it back. But besides that, I think that I can't really think of anything much I need to change for this. This is a version where I've literally designed this to be glass cannon. So it does everything that it kind of needs to. Fair enough, it's not going to win every single game, but the fact is that if you actually end up getting decent levels at playing Pendulum, this deck just kind of finesses on your opponent in the sense of you just go full on pop off. Your opponent can drop multiple hand traps, and it does not matter. As long as they don't know when to specifically hand trap you, you can just keep playing through everything and then still end on a few boards of the gate. And if they've already dropped 3 hand traps, they're already 3 cards down. So As long as they just don't bully you instantly, you should be fine. And that's really it for the deck. If you guys have got any suggestions besides taking over terraforming, please do leave them in the comment section below so that I can amend this and actually make it a bit more decent, because I did invest in this a while back, but haven't done for a while, and it's one of those decks where I do want to get back into it. It's just the sad part of Sphere mode and I've gone format, so it kind of breaks this board really easily. So yeah. Anyways, thanks guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always, and I'll be signing out.